Welcome, CityState 2 fans, to CityState 2 with Omnius Prime. Episode 2, Zoning for Dummies. Now, last episode I titled it Planning and Measuring for Success, and I didn't do any measuring. So I'm going to be doing some measuring and making some roads and kind of showing you this whole road layout from scratch in just a moment. But before that, I want to kind of start the clock here in my city of Giddy Prime. And this is the marina. And as you can see, it has some little boats sailing around. You can see the above ground trains are running into the station, but not necessarily out. The movement in this game is kind of like Cities XXL. It's kind of simulated. It's not like trying to track individual people and cars and trucks and all this other stuff. So it's kind of like simulated traffic. Now, what I want to do here is let's stop the clock, and I want to give you a little bridges demonstration before I get going further on because the water obstacle is going to go away. So let's take a look at, first of all, you might be wondering, can we make, whoops, let's come down a little bit. And there we go. And start off with the bridge. Now this is a road, and this is the kind of bridge that a road makes. So I want you to see that. Now, let's see, can we cross bridges? So let's try that. And the answer is, while you can cross bridges, it's going to look screwy, okay? So my opinion is it just does not create what is a valid looking intersection. Okay, so now, what about avenues? Can we do bridges with avenues? And the answer is yes, that's what it looks like. So as you can see, it's just kind of a rather more of a flat, boring bridge, which is kind of sad. Which should be a little spiffier looking. So, you know, I've already shown you the road bridge. And here is a street bridge. And as you can see, what the street bridge does is substitutes the road for the street. Okay? So I just wanted to give you a quick little lesson on bridges and show you this little cute little marina. Now, here's something else that I want to show you. Now, if I were to try to exit the city, and it looks like my friend Rabodi is just telling me that that was a great introductory video. He just watched it and sent the comment while I'm starting my second video. Now, I'm going to actually do some building, do some terrain leveling and stuff. Now, one of the things is if you try to quit the city, it will automatically save it. So it can be tough to try little experiments like this and exit the program gracefully like you can in like so many other city building games. Not this one. So if you try to exit the game, it's going to save. So it'll save your experiments. However, I discovered that if I want to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this segment and then come back and the stuff is going to be gone. But before I do that, what I'm going to do to get out of the game without saving this is use the Control-Alt-Delete keys. Okay, Control-Alt-Delete, bring up the task manager, use the task manager to then end the game. And you end the game, you don't save, you can go back, you can retry your test. So the one way that you can try things without being stuck saving them is to use Control-Alt-Delete, go to the Task Manager, end the CityState 2 game, and voila, so you can do experiments without them costing you. So I'll be back in a moment after I do my Control-Alt-Delete. Here we are, back again in Giddy Prime. And as you can see, all that stuff disappeared. I left the marina solely because I can just show you how to bulldoze it just like that. Now, for some odd reason, the marina doesn't need to be connected to a road. And here Rabodi is back messaging me again. He's from Australia, and he's also a CityState 2 fan. So he's really jazzed about us talking together, sharing screenshots and stuff like that of our cities and stuff, and helping each other kind of learn the game. Now, let's just take a quick look at what I've got here. I'm going to let clock run a little bit and just let the stats build up a second, because what it does is this game, when you first enter it, you have to let the clock run a little bit. So right now you can see I've got unemployment down to 3%, okay, right there. Stability is 100, that's good. There's your approval rating at 69, Civil Rights Index 95, Economic Freedom Index at 58. So if I come over here, there's my power usage on the bottom, 95%, water usage 96%, education 81, health 83, sense of security 84, traffic, let's turn on the traffic filter. And that doesn't look too bad. Let's see, does it give me a reading yet? Yes, traffic congestion 14%. You can see that the train system is pretty popular here, okay? When I did it the first time, I didn't even have half that much. The buses aren't too popular. I found that the buses, they're just not all that popular, okay? But 14% for 428,000 isn't too bad. Okay, let's just zip it around here. And let's take a look at the pollution filter, okay? Now, this is the area I started out by the airport here, okay, in this block, moved down and built this block. Then I moved up to build these two blocks, okay, building one residential, one industrial together, and then this one. So this is one, it looks the dirtiest, but you can see that I do have my carbon capture units in right here. That's a carbon capture unit. Okay, and they are, they do work. But right now, these factories are a little bit dirty because they're still newer. As they get a little older, they will progress and become actually cleaner. You see, you don't see any smokers down here. You see plenty of carbon capture units where basic industry was. Basic industry smokes, advanced industry does not, okay? Now, they both use the same zoning, okay? There is only one type of industrial zone. It's, well, except for, light density, medium density, high density. Here you can even set custom density. I haven't tried that yet, but I guess you could perhaps make instant 7 out of 7 or 6 out of 6 buildings and stuff. So I haven't tried that yet. Maybe I'll have to try that sometime. And then the farming, okay? So this will do the farming. Now, that farming tool does something else really slick, and I'm going to show you what that really slick function is, because it's kind of like, how did I get around to measuring out all these perfect squares? Well, it wasn't by accident. So first of all, I want to show you the power of the terrain tool, okay? So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I need to clear out some workspace. So I'm going to come over here And I'm just gonna level this ground, okay? I mean, this, I'll tell you what, this has got the best, um, easiest terrain leveling tool uh, i- that I think I've ever played with. Here we go. Let's get rid of the water obstacle. Bad for circuits for us computers, right? I remember I am the evil computer overmind, Omnius. Okay, that should do it for widening out the space. Now, the secret to measuring, okay? Now, and let's see, can I, there we go, okay? So I'm going to turn it a little bit so you can see that, yes, you can measure with dollars, okay? You can see that they kind of measure out, those 4 squares here are like big buildings, and I'll show you those in a little bit. So let me pull this out maybe a little bit more. Okay, now here's the slick trick. I use the farm tool, okay, to measure. So I go out 58, right there. Now, how do I know where that spot is going to be when I try to switch over to the road tool? You can't see this, but I actually put my finger over the last red spot, okay? Now when I let go of the farm tool, my finger is on the road here. Now, since this is a road, I'm alternating between roads and avenues. So I'm going to stick an avenue right here, okay? And now let's come back and measure. Oh snap, I did that, huh? That's slick, huh? Now, here's something else I want to show you. Notice that when I took this avenue and dragged it across the road, notice how it basically erased the intersection. So what I need to do now is just come back here and run road across so that I recreate the intersection. So you're going to find that yeah, sometimes you got to be careful about the laying the roads. Now, one of the nice things is like where here I can just do kind of like bulk road building. Boom. Now, conventional wisdom is that you start with gravel roads and then upgrade them. I don't do that, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, let's come out here and let's finish up another block. Let's see, I hope I've cleared enough ground. Ooh, man, yeah, that's going to be... Okay, let's come up here. And let's get me a little more ground here. There we go. I thought I was going to be a little short. Okay, whoopsie. There we go. Oh, you're just going to be silly here. Yeah. But this terrain tool is just wicked easy to use. Now, right now, I'm just kind of going through overkill here. I'm not actually going to do all of this. There we go. Okay, so now let's come back up here. Let's get another road going. Some more there. Okay, now we use the farm tool. Whoopsie. Get the farm tool going here. And the other thing I wanted to do when I clear out the roads here is to give you a good clear view of what I'm doing. Okay, I got my 58. I'm going to put my finger over the last red square there. Now I'm going to use a road because here's the avenue, so avenues and roads will alternate. And let me see if I can measure it up. and 58. Okay, so that's my secret measurement. Now, how many spaces is that really? Okay, let's take a look. There's an actual little formula that I've derived. First space is going to cost 4, okay, and then each space afterward costs 6. So my formula for how many spaces is $58 is 58 minus 2 gives me 56, divided by 2 gives me 28. So there are 28 spaces in between here, okay? Let's, now let's come down here and let's look at, where's the airport at? The airport. Now, the airport, I always used kind of like this is my center line right here. So the airport goes here. So I always know where my center line is in the city. And let's get my little farm tool out here again. Now, okay, let's see. Nope. Yeah, let's just try it. Nope, I can't do it on the farm. Okay, let's come back here then and try it right. Oh, it just doesn't like doing it. Okay, we'll come here. Okay, I've got the farm tool selected here. Come on, guys. There we go. So let's see if I can't get this going. Okay, so it's 34, which means it's basically 16 spaces. But the slick thing is check this out. Yeah, 58. It's the exact same size as the airport, 58. So that's kind of like my magic number there. So let's get some more stuff going here. Now I'm going to extend the avenues first. And as you can see, man, once you got this stuff going, man, I mean, just, yeah, it's quick. But I'm not going to zone everything because I really only need 2 blocks. So let's go here. And let's go there. So, this is your basic block, a 4 square block, okay? I'm going to make this industrial, just for grins. This is going to be, I guess I didn't extend it out quite far enough. It's going to be my second block, okay? 4 squares, I'm going to turn this into residential. I mean, yes, I get fancy and I start building along the edges and stuff, but for a basic demonstration, I want to show you how I'm laying this out. Now, streets, let's talk about the streets. Here's my pattern. It's going north-south. So here, I'm going to go east-west. Now, as you can see, this little, like, zoning road tool, there's, like, pluses in the 4 corners. That's, like, 5 spaces right there. So if I pop up, now, this is my spacing. I come up 1 from there. I'm going to come out and go 560. Okay? I'm going to go 560. Now, here's a little, here's why, here's gravel road, okay? Oh, 140, okay. But then you got to turn around and, whoopsie. So the gravel road is cheaper, but then you got to upgrade it. Okay, now why are you... There, let's just do it that way. Okay. So the gravel road's cheaper to build, but, you know, and to maintain. But what I do, but then you have to turn around and spend this money to, now I stopped this road right here because of this rail station right here. I know that it's going to go there, okay? So now I'm going to come down here, repeat the pattern. 560. Oh, look at that. Looks like there's somebody kind of sitting in the way here. Now, this is called a slum, okay? And when you have poor people, here, let's look at it. No affordable housing available. You got 267 occupants, no tax income, and so this is you don't want these, okay? Now, if they show up in your city, you can just bulldoze them, so it's not a problem, okay? But you've got to be able to house them, and I'm going to show you how you basically um, play the game of having high property values and expensive housing, but that you're able to provide cheap housing for the workers, the low income people. Now, boom. Okay, and now let's come over here. Now, if you look at this, what I've got here, let's measure, okay? 14, okay? Here, though, it's only 12. So this is 6 spaces, this is 5 spaces. That's 12, that's 5 spaces. 14, that's 6 spaces. So you see how the top and bottom have a little more space here where we have the traffic going, okay? Now, I'm going to do my roads now. I'm doing this on this nice flat map so that you can see the pattern, okay? And you don't have a bunch of trees in the way and not be able to see it. And of course, doing it with the stopped clock here. I tell you what, you know what? Let's throw in, let's see. You know, I don't think that I figured out how to put an edenium in my, in these streets here. So I think what I'm going to do, come over to this special building, and let's build an edenium. This is kind of like a church kind of thingy. And let's see, I want to put it, how about if I put it right here? Bang, okay. Now, what religion does in this game is increase birth rate. So, you know, kind of like dumps people down, but you get the good birth rate. And the schooling, you got to have the good schooling, so you smarten people up, and then you reduce your birth rate that way. So it's a game of balancing where, yes, I'm building churches. I'm an atheist. But that doesn't mean that I don't build churches in this game, because it helps with the birth rate. Okay, so I'm going to lay in my my roads here. See, and I just, you know, I know that this is always going to be 560, and the other way is going to be 620. And the one reason I like these grids is, man, is once I get my my concept down and dialed in, it's so easy to build, and especially with this awesome terrain tool where, man, I can just, you know, flatten the map, you know, and there's a big reason why I flatten the map. Now, in the last episode, I forgot to show you, well, let me just show you running some rail lines. So I'm going to come out here to here, okay, and I'm going to come down to, okay, right there. And here. Now, let's come over here and see if I can't find me a space where let's see. Let's try, bingo, there it is. Okay. if I try to come here, okay, it doesn't like that red spot right there. Now, why doesn't it like it? This terrain spot right here, okay, is up 1 hex too high. Railroads need 2 hexes, 2 spaces before. The road has to be flat, and then 2 afterwards. So now let's try running. Voila. You see? Now, once I drop that down so that, see, it has a flat space, and then it can start to curve down. But it needs basically 2 flat spaces on each side of a road or avenue. Okay, so that's the one thing I forgot to show you in my first episode about building trains that you have to be kind of careful about. So let's just go about here, and let's come on down to here. Whoops, what's going on here? Huh. Okay, rail tracks. Ah, okay, I see what's going on here. It doesn't like the trees. So what I have to do, and this is another good lesson, okay, and something that I'd like to Andy to see, is that, okay, bus stop. Let me just, nope, bus stop right here. Let me try to build a bus stop. Now, the road must be flat, okay? Now, the road sure looks flat to me, but it's this box tree lining that stops me from placing bus stops. So that's where I have to have, see, the street without the trees. So, okay, now the roads don't have the trees. Now, watch this. Now I can go ahead and now it's going to draw nice. There you go. So it's kind of good to have some of these little things pop up live so that I can kind of like show you that it's not a problem, that there's ways to fix things. And there's reasons for why something doesn't work, and one of them is that, yeah, the tree streets, avenues, one reason that I've been using the avenue without the tree lining, not just that it's a slightly cheaper monthly cost, but it's because I have such a difficult time placing bus stops on the avenues and stuff. And I finally nailed it down to it being the actual planter buses. Okay, so let's see. I'm at let's add. Oh yeah, I got to add some train stations. So now here, if I go up 60, okay, that's going to give me enough. Go up 60. Now I don't need them there. Now I can place train station. You have to bring your line like right to the left side of the train station. And once again, every time you want to place a train station, so about right, you probably can't see my mouse head. Wrong way, wrong way. There we go. There we go. It's a little tricky. I mean, it takes some getting the touchdown. There we go. And after you do a bunch of these, you start to get kind of good at it. Now, I can't wait to show you how to do the underground rail. And you can even use this like an underground rail connection to connect above ground and below ground. railroad systems together. But I decided not to do that in this city because I wasn't sure how well that would work, because obviously I have to run my rails along roads and avenues, and I'm running underground rail under the roads. And so yes, I am going to do in a future video, show you how to do the oh, whoopsie, I did something bad there, and I can just, boom, blow that up. And let's put that back together again. There we go. And I'll take the, now, the first city you build, man, you're going to be in Poorsville for a while. But then afterwards, man, like the second city, you know, you can start out with the millions of dollars, and you can do deficit financing early on. You can, oh, it's just, building your second city will be a lot more fun and easier than your first city. Okay, let's get back to the special building. Let's get my Edenium. And this is just to kind of give you some idea of that, yeah, there are some bigger buildings. And what I wanted to do was kind of give you an idea of how I just work around them, okay? And kind of show you some nifty tips about things you got to watch for in the game. So you might, you know, run into trying to place, you know, flower boxes on tree-lined streets or avenues. You're not doing it, and you're not knowing why, okay? So this now is a good train distribution. Now let's take a quick look here, because I'd been running some clock. My traffic congestion is only 14%, okay, which is really excellent. You can see my trains are doing pretty well, okay. Buses are kind of dogging it. I guess that's why the American bus system is called Greyhound, because we're dogging it. And this is your basic layout. Now, I haven't done bus stops yet, and there's a lot of little things to go to, so this is, I'm sure, going to be quite the episode. So now, here we go. I'm going to start right, let's just, oh no, I'm doing bus stops. So where are we? We are right there. Okay. So I'm starting right here, there. And once I develop a pattern. And then I just use that pattern everywhere. So you see how I'm just placing, and now you see why having a nice flat, you know, playground is great. Now I'm going to left justify over here, place my bus stop on the road. There's one on the road right there, so that center's covered. See, there's a bus stop there, and I always prefer to place it on avenues where I can. Place one here. Bus stop is right there. Now we're going to go this way. Okay. And now this is your, whoopsie, bus stop pattern. So this way I can, whoop, not right there, right here. And there's the bus stop there. Bus stop's already there. So we're going to put one right there, and then I'm going to put one right there. And that's your bus stop pattern, okay? You got to give them coverage. I mean, just because it says, you know, it's going to cover all this area, But if you look at the coverage, see how these inside bus stations really cover the inside well. And then you've got these other ones over here in the corners and stuff that cover what the inside ones don't cover. Okay, so this way you get a nice complete coverage. And the same with these train stations, okay? You see how you know, I like I said, you know, I put the four corners up, and it just didn't draw them well. But once I added in bus stops, I mean train stations on every corner, oh yeah, The train station's really picked up. And wait until you see how I do the underground. I lay out the underground exactly like the bus stops. So I'll have, yes, underground stations every place where you see a bus stop. And the service on that is phenomenal. Okay? Now, zoning for dummies! Yeah! Okay, now I built the roads up. And I showed you the measurement using the farm tool, okay, for the measuring. Showing you the magic 58. That gives you 26 spaces. And so yeah, this is just, and I get perfect squares all the time. Now, let's talk about zoning, okay? First of all, let's go, let's talk about special buildings. Now, okay, let's first of all talk about churches. So let's go ahead, I can stick a church. Now, this is a little different where I would stick a church in one corner, a park in another corner, then an arcology, and in another different kind of arcology. I had to kind of switch things up a little, put a church in, put one of these. Now, what I do is I always like look at the next block. Here I have a pagoda, and I have that kind of big park here, this very large plaza. So now what I'm going to do is use this guy. And I'm actually placing it along the, the railroad track. And you see, Andy? I told you you can place stuff on the railroad tracks. And the railroad station should be a yes. The church and well, the park, that should be a no. But this is a great way that I can show Andy things in the game that maybe he's not so aware of because he's too busy making the game to be playing it. Okay. Now, I only use the very large plazas. There's only two. I use the large plazas as well. Okay. There's three of them. I don't use the basketball court. It costs $500. Capacity 10, monthly cost 10. That's like all these little itty bitty pedestrian alley stuff like that. I might have to try, playing with pedestrian alleys and stuff like that just to see what it looks like. Let's try that, just for grins. Okay, so there's a pedestrian alley. Okay, normally I'm too busy doing this, putting trees in everywhere. Boom, man, I love the trees, man. But these little itty bitty parks are kind of like, are you kidding me? I don't bother with them. You know, they're just too small, too low capacity. Basketball court has the same capacity as these guys that cost $100, but it costs $500. Bad value. I'd like to see the basketball court improve to the large plaza, capacity 90, monthly cost 90. Okay, make the basketball court more usable for the money, even if you pump up the price to like 900. I'd make the basketball court equal to a large plaza. So there, parks and churches. So you want to increase your birth rate, you got to keep people happy. Parks also increase land value. What else increases land value? Okay, schools. Okay, I usually like to place my schools like right, say here. Okay, put them in the corner. I'm just, as you can see, some of these things like to jump around like a Mexican jumping bean, and make it a little easier. You can't just boom, 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 click, click, click. Now, so we're going to go here and take a look at this. Now, right now it says 0. Okay. But let's get a high school in here. Now, high schools are longer. So I run them up like, say, right here. There we go. And I'm just going to upgrade. Like that. Now, let's just for grins, take a quick look at this elementary school that's already running. Now it tells me that it has 674 students out of a capacity of 1,800, monthly cost 1,400. I have 90 out of 90 teachers. Quantity and quality are of equal importance. So you ramp up your teachers to the maximum for each level, okay, so that you help increase quality. Now, this info screen is important. How do things get determined as far as the level goes? Okay, you look at your policy score, 56 out of 100. That's the effect of my policies on education. Now, at the maximum when I was in my capital and I was focusing on jacking up education, I had it up to 112. Capacity score, 89 of 100. When I was, getting up to 100 education level to get the fusion reactor. Yeah, I had capacity up to 100 out of 100. Okay, the employee score, same thing. Because what I want to do is see the grade of 82 is pretty close to that grade of 81 on the left that you can see just by the train station. Okay, so now the elementary schools basically are about half of your score. Now let's take a look at the high school. Okay, 1995 out of 2100. Okay, and if I look up here, see the policy score is still 56, passage score 86, employees 100, grade 81, monthly cost 1060. Okay, so now what I would like to do is put more schools in, because then what'll happen is my capacity score will go up, which will end up raising my education level. Same thing with now libraries. Here's another thing. Let's just go ahead and I'm going to build. I like putting my libraries in industrial areas. Now, it doesn't have employees. It has books. Jack it up to 8,000. Okay. Now, libraries, no policy, capacity, employee score, but it has the grade. And what you want to do is jack that library up, because now libraries don't make people smarter per se, doesn't increase the education level, but what it does is, you can see it just went up to 82 because I've just placed a couple of schools in this library in here, and now it's detecting that as you can see, that went down to 1869, and now we're down to 1602 instead of 1674. This will help people learn quicker. So libraries are important. You don't need to build as many, but you want to build several, because what you want to do is help your people learn quicker. Okay? I need a park up here. I put one of those here, so I alternate between these two parks. I'm going to stick a park over, let's say right there. Okay, let's talk about hospitals. Okay, because one of the things that will attract people to your city is good health care. So once again, I'm going to jack up my levels, jack up my physicians. Okay, try to get my bottom grade up as high as I can. I want to get this going to B. Okay, it's really tough to do A. You've got to build them all over the place. Let's talk about your police. Okay, here we go. We got police. Same thing, same concept. Okay, we want that. How about fire station? Now the fire station, I've got very few fire stations, and after a while, once your city's big, man, you just build it, you just, jack up the levels and everything. Now, let's talk about prisons. Okay, we have prisoners. Okay, we have rehabilitation centers, which helps with security. And these are special buildings over here, 3 types of arcology. Oh, they're wonderful. State social media, that was the last one I was able to unlock in that first episode. That's supposed to improve approval level by 10 points, and so far I have to say I don't see that. My approval ratings were around 65 before I placed the social media building, and they're still remaining, like around 69, and I know I've done some other policies that have helped my approval rating. So I'm not too sure that state social media actually works as advertised. It's supposed to add 10 to the approval rating, and I just don't see it yet. Okay, see, there's your social media center right there. Okay, and there's another prison. Let's see what other. Well, while I'm down here, let's take a look at water. Okay, I got my water pumping stations, 4 out of 4 running. Okay, I have a fusion power plant with 6 out of 8 running. And right now in this city, I mean, I only use fusion power, you know. So I think these are kind of all the little special buildings that I need to show, except that I'll have to go into the the Capitol to show some government buildings. Now, let's get around to doing some zoning here. So what I'm going to do is zone some commercial. Now I have 4 building lengths here. Okay, so I only do high density. Now sometimes what I'll do is I'll do this. Okay, lately I've been just, when I zone, I do trees. Okay, I'm leaving this space open right now in case I need another hospital, fire station, something like that. And then what I would do is I'll do my industrial. Okay, like I said, I do 6 of these, so 288, and I do full lots. I don't screw around. So always multiples of 48. Okay, now let's talk about some specialty buildings. Arcologies. These are wonderful, man. So I can place these arcologies. Now, they get a capacity of 3,000 for the A. Okay, and the education level, you'll notice, is instantly 86.4. Okay, all these other buildings are going to start out at 0. Okay, and they are only middle class. So if you want to jack up your middle class zoning, that's the building for you. Okay, see, it wants some middle class. Okay, now here, that's, oh wait, the capacity on this puppy, 6,000. Okay, now let's take a look at arcology A. I mean C. This is arcology C. Capacity 12,000. Okay, it'll have over 4,000 jobs. The arcology A will probably be about 1,100 jobs. Arcology B will probably be about 22 to 2,300 jobs. I mean, so what you have are people and jobs in one building. Okay, now let's talk about, I've got to do my residential zoning. Okay, so what I would do is I'm coming out 4. Okay, so this is kind of like my housing for rent, so to say. Here we have public housing, low, medium, high density. There's some state-owned factories, low and medium. I never use them. Public market, I never use it. But I use this public housing religiously. So what I do is, like on a street like this, I place 2 of them next to each other. Now, why do I do that? because what it does is I happen to have some right here, okay? Let's take a look at these guys right here. Public housing, 413 occupants, okay? Low income housing, 1,862 occupants, okay? So here I'm putting in kind of like two high density buildings, but they're only the population of like one of these um, residential kind of lots. Now, when you have jacked up property prices and stuff, you're going to have a lot of people who can't afford, the regular housing. So they'll either make slums or they go to these public housing. You want the public housing, and I found that using the public housing to balance the traffic along these residential roads. Like I said, let's take a look at the traffic filter. Seeing is believing, okay? You see how nice and green those are. If I try to do 6 across with the regular stuff, then they start turning red and orange, okay? So, I mean, the public housing not only helps to control housing prices, and you don't want to a bunch of people building slums all over your city, and you don't make any money off the slums. You make at least a little money off the public housing, and like I said, it helps balance out residential traffic flow. And what I would also do is here build commercial along 192, so I can build 4 there. Okay. So basically, here's what I'm doing. There's more commercial here, more commercial here, and space for a building. Okay, and then I would do, once again, more commercial here. And now everything else is going to be the same pattern of high density residential. Go to 192, boom. Then I do my placement of buildings. And let's just let clock run a little bit, and let's see this stuff kind of pop up a bit. Now, here, my inflation rate's at like a decent 3%. Now, and it'll grow. When you have a really low unemployment rate, that's going to have a bad effect on inflation. You can see how it's raising up. And you have to use like tax policy. Sometimes now you see it's popped up to 4.3 because this low unemployment rate. So there are several factors for how you control. And now we have water shortages. So of course what I need is another water plant. And let me show you another little trick that I do. Okay. With my zoning. Let's come out here. Look, here's another thing I want to show you. So I'm going to come out here. Notice how that little bus stop right there disappeared, okay? So sometimes you got to be careful that when you make roads close to bus stops and underground rail stations, that they might disappear, so you have to put them back in again. Okay, water plant fits right in here. There. And farmland is nice and clean. I think of farmland as clean, basic industry. So that's why I would use the farmland and stuff. So let's just let this clock run just a wee bit more. And I hope that you've gotten some kind of a good idea of how I'm laying this out. Once again, I'll have, the commercial here, 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 and, manufacturing all goes here. Now, one reason I start at the top here, let me just stop the clock here so that I can put in this carbon capture unit, okay? So what I want to do is build a row watch where I can. I'm just going to turn that off for now. And see a smoker factory, and then I'll place carbon capture. Okay. Now I can't do it in the middle rows. So then sometimes what I'll end up doing is placing a carbon capture on the row here and building buildings around it. And now, and you see here, I've got parking lots here. I hit purposely overzoned commercial so that I can show you this. Don't freak out. Don't bother to delete them either. Just leave them alone. They'll fill in after your demand fills up. And you can see how the demand bars are like cranked up, but these buildings aren't building, okay? So you can't always trust what your demand bars tell you. You have to kind of watch your unemployment rate so that you zone, so that you don't have too low of an unemployment rate, and then you can watch the bars for kind of basically what it's looking for, okay? Let's take a quick look at the arcology. That one's already filled up. 2,244 employees, 1123, 12,000. Look at that, and look at that tax income, 7,000, man. Money, 3,500. Nine, was that about 1,800? So let's take a look at this. That's like 142 for some middle income housing. Okay, 5 out of 7. Okay, so yeah, everything has a purpose in this game, and it's all a big balancing act. So I hope you've enjoyed this demonstration, and I'll probably be back in a moment to see what I'm going to talk about next. Wow, time really got away from me in that last segment, and I didn't realize I had talked for almost 51 minutes showing you all kinds of interesting things. Here's something else, okay? We can read the license plate in CityState 2 here, okay? The only other game I saw that in was Cities XXL. The graphics quality of this game is just outrageous. You can see over on the left, top left there, those trees and flowers just look stunning. Now let's see. If I can come up, and you can see the detail in the trees here. Now, can I actually dig down? Okay, here's the grass. Okay. Now, this isn't the wild grass, but you can see the level of detail just in the grass. Now, one thing that I haven't shown you yet, okay, let's just let things start running here. Whee! Okay. Let's go underground. So I'm going to go click on the underground trains, and here you can see that, yeah, I've got underground trains running. I mean, this train system is just beyond totally awesome. Whoop, now it's showing me 22% traffic congestion. But look at the train percentage, over half, maybe 60% using the trains. In my first city, man, it's, you know, of Omnius Prime, man, it was kind of like 40-some% traffic congestion or something. It was pretty tough. But this underground rail system works just slick as can be, slick as snot, as I like to say. And and the view is kind of cool. I mean, man, the buildings all disappear and stuff, and you can see how, if you notice, oh, we got the people walking, but if you notice, the underground railroad station uses the exact same setup that I did with the buses. Now, what I'm going to end up doing is in a later episode showing you how I actually build it. And speaking of, here are the slums, okay? And this is what you want to kind of try to avoid, okay, from having too many in your city. And that is why the need for state-owned um, housing. Okay. Now, it's time to wrap up this episode, and I thank you for watching, and I hope that you'll come back for my next episode, which I think is going to be about policies.